And Town Board, we are live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March 3rd regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you please read the roll call?
Councilwoman Burke Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Leaf.
Present.
Councilwoman Overby.
Here.
Councilwoman Rogers.
Present.
Supervisor Van Scoyac.
Present. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we have 6 public hearings, which will be followed by a public portion where members of the public may comment on any topic, and then we'll have resolutions to offer. But before we get started, we have both our town historian and our town crier here today. Welcome, Hugh King.
Okay, you can start with your questions. We start with Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Okay, so given that the month of March is Women's History Month,
Right.
please share a few of the accomplishments of your talented wife, Loretta.
Oh, that's a nice question. Oh, everything that happened to me that was good happened to me after I met Loretta.
Oh,
Loretta was a nurse at New York Hospital for 14 years, and her last patient was the Shah of Iran. Okay, she was his private duty nurse, got into an argument with the Shah's pediatrician on his care, and then came out to Amagansett, figuring that being a waitress was easier than being a private duty nurse. Well, little did she know. She worked at the, I know Councilman Overby remembers this, the Royal Fish Restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was helping the Falepas because I was in theater with Richard. So Loretta came out here in 1979, and she never left. She then went on to get her doctorate at Stony Brook in anthropology, and then began teaching at Hofstra in Suffolk County Community College. Meanwhile, her research was done on the neo-pagan and Wiccan movement in the United States. And these were basically nature worshipers. They were good witches. They wasn't the witches that, grew on the brooms. And she had her book published, Never Again the Burning Times, on her dissertation. And then she did the majority of the research for It Were As Well to Please the Devil as Anger Him, Witchcraft in the Founding Days of East Hampton, the Goody Garlic witchcraft case that took place in 1657, 35 years before the Salem trials. And then besides teaching French at Spring School and teaching at Hofstra, she also developed the gardens at Home Sweet Home. And that's why they look the way they do today. That's no accident.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
That was Loretta. So thank you for that question, Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Thanks.
I got most of that right, too, by the way. Councilman Lees.
Yeah, well, that was a good question, I do have to say. Mine's a little bit more mundane, I guess. Most recently, we had a wonderful visit out east here to celebrating the start of the offshore wind farm. And the Secretary of the Interior, Ted Holland, visit here, along with our Governor, Kathy Hochul. Hugh, do you have any memories or any knowledge of whenever any U.S. presidents, Congress or U.S. senators or potential cabinet members ever visit East Hampton for something not political or fundraising?
I don't have a complete list. In fact, I have a list of some people who came here not for the reason that you said. So I'm going to give you all the non-answers first. First of all, ex-President John Tyler visited East Hampton in 1845 with his wife Julia. He may have brought her here to have one of her children, but he did not come here on official business. And the first president to come here on official business was William McKinley. In 1898, he went to Camp Wyckoff in Montauk and visited there. And that was an official business trip. And the only other answer I have for you today, but I'll have to do more research, is a first lady came to East Hampton on what you could call official business. In 1921, Warren Harding was invited to come to East Hampton by Frank Wyborg of Wyborg's Beach. Instead, he went to Southampton to play golf. But Mrs. Harding and Herbert Hoover, Mr. and Mrs. Herbert Hoover, visited Home Sweet Home on a kind of an official visit to tour the museum. And they did. And Mr. Buke gave them a cup and gave Mrs. Harding a cup and saucer to take back to the White House. And we have a letter in Home Sweet Home inviting the Bukes to visit the White House and stay there. But unfortunately, Mr. Harding dies on his trip to Alaska, and the trip never happened. So that's all I got for you on so far. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. The supervisor.
So Hugh, can you tell me when the East Hampton train, what year the East Hampton train station was built, and what was the name of the railroad at the time of its construction?
Was it the South Side Railroad?
Well, you're very close. The original railroad was the South Side Railroad of Long Island, but there was a reorganization. And
yeah, then the train station was built in East. The train reached Bridgehampton in 1870. So if you wanted to get here, you had to get a carriage ride, over from Bridgehampton. Then in 1895, the station came through in East Hampton. And that the Long Island Railroad fixed up the East Hampton train station to make it look like it did. They did a wonderful job. Mm-hmm. And that's what the one in Amagansett looked like till they tore it down and put that shed up there. What's the one in Montauk? What kind of a shape is that one in?
It's in pretty good shape.
The station is in pretty good shape. I think it's being used as the art gallery.
Yeah.
Montauk Artists Association is in there.
Oh, good. But the station still has the same configuration, doesn't it, as it did?
Yes,
yeah, right.
I believe so. Yeah, so it was actually built when the South Side Railroad reorganized as the Brooklyn and Montauk Railroad, which was immediately leased then to the LIRR.
Oh.
And it was merged in 1889.
Oh my goodness. Well, there was some flack about the railroad coming through here. People had to sell their land, right? Or give them a right of way. And there were some various town meetings where this was discussed, but eventually the railroad persevered, I should say. Good question. Okay. Councilwoman Overby.
Yeah, I'm it. So because this is basketball March Madness month, I thought you might want to talk about the East Hampton High School. I have an article that was written in 1940 on December the 19th talking about East Hampton High School defeating Mattituck 26-19. But the East Hampton High School wasn't called the Bonnickers. Do you know what they were called?
No, wait a minute. What year is this?
1940.
1940. They weren't called the Bonnickers. No, I don't know what they were called.
They were called the Maroons.
Oh, the maroon and white because of the colors, right?
Yeah, they're maroon and gray is their colors now.
Maroon and gray.
Yeah, but they were called the Maroons at least in 1940.
Well, I want to tell you, I played basketball in 1959, and we never even came close to beating Mattituck. Mattituck and Southold were monsters. They had huge boys playing on their team against the little Bonnickers here in East Hampton. Oh, they were both very powerful. 29-16. Oh my
26-19.
Those were the days. That would be one quarter today.
Right.
Basketball game. The Maroons, that's a good one. Okay, Councilwoman Rogers.
Okay, and I don't know the answer to this question. I've looked everywhere for the answer. So with the new type of power generation or new old with wind power coming to East Hampton for electricity. I was wondering, when did electricity itself actually arrive in East Hampton, and how was it embraced? I looked everywhere for the answers to the years, but I couldn't find it.
Well, all I know is that Joseph Osborne, I think, was one of the people who started the electric light company in the area, which is now the Village. So that's like early 1900s. We'd have to do more research. I think that's the closest we could say. It's early 1900s.
I think I remember reading somewhere here that it was 1912.
Okay.
For some reason, and it was undergrounded, which
in the Village it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I looked everywhere for the dates when it came here.
Okay. Any other board members have any comment about that one? No. Okay. Now I got to switch hats. Okay. Okay. Can you see me? Okay. Two people who have passed away. Well, there are a lot more than two people who have passed away, but two longtime East Hampton residents have passed away in the last week, Ed Sherrill and Vinnie Grimes. Ed Sherrill, of course, was a member of one of the early founding families. Not the founding families after the Montaukets, okay? And he was a longtime member of the East Hampton Village Board. And then Vinnie Grimes, of course, a longtime resident of Montauk. His family came here from Nova Scotia. And the one great thing that Vinnie used to do, besides his sense of humor, he used to take people on tours on a bus around Montauk. And if someone asked him a question he didn't know the answer to, he made up the answer, which I thought was really neat. And now I want to talk about Audrey Gaines. Audrey Gaines is a longtime employee of the town, but Audrey Gaines has spent almost 50 years working either for child development. She's now on the anti-bias task force. She worked at the Head Start program. And I know that Audrey has been working this long because she was in my high school class. So don't let her lie about her age to you, okay? And Audrey is still working. And then the last thing I want to tell you about is at the next meeting, you will have an essay to read about from the contest that the AVIS ran about Amagansett, the Valentine's Day. All right, I'm going to give you a packet of all the essays that were written so you can all look through them, but I will give one to each person to read at the next board meeting. Okay? I'm just trying to get a copy of one more. So that's what we'll do at the next board meeting. And then finally, I'm going to be emailing all the board members some comments about the 375th anniversary of the founding of the town by the English people. That's going to take place next year. Next year is the 375th. Can you believe it's 25 years since 1998?
No.
That's amazing. All right, that's all I got, Mr. Supervisor.
Thank you so much, Hugh.
Okay.
Good to see you. Best to Loretta.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on with our public hearings. As I said earlier, we have 6. The first one is the CPF Management and Stewardship Plan. Carol, would you please read the COVID disclosure and the hearing notice?
Please note that due to the public health and safety concerns related to COVID-19, the town board is not expected to meet in person at the time of this hearing. Pursuant to New York law, Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, Part E, which authorizes, notwithstanding the provisions of Article 7 of the Public Offices Law to the contrary, political subdivisions to permit any public body to hold meetings remotely without the in-person access by conference call or similar service, provided that the public has the ability to view and listen to such proceedings and that such meetings are recorded and later transcribed. This public hearing of the town board can be held via video conferencing with a transcript provided at a later date pursuant to such authority. The public can watch and participate in the public hearings live on local TV channel 22 or live online at the public meetings link on the LTV website. Members of the public may provide comments on the matter being heard by calling the number provided on the live screen. Comments may also be submitted and will continue to be accepted in writing by the town clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov or by mail to the town clerk at 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments must be received within 1 week of the posting of the public hearing transcript. A transcript of the public hearing held by video conferencing will be prepared and filed with the town clerk and placed upon the town's website. Please check the meeting agenda posted on the town's website for any changes to the instructions to access the public hearing or for updated information. Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on Thursday, March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter as this matter may be heard to consider comments of all persons on the proposed M&S plan for Community Preservation Fund acquired properties within the town. The full text of the M&S plan is available for inspection at the office of the town clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, during regular business hours, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, exclusive of holidays, as well as on the town's webpage, www.ehamptonny.gov.
Thank you, Carol. We have Scott Wilson with us today, Director of Land Management. Scott, would you care to introduce the M&S plan?
I'd be happy to. Thank you. So Town Law 64E, which is the Community Preservation Fund law, requires that we create a management and stewardship plan for all acquired CPF properties. While required, I find it's actually a good opportunity to revisit our plans to account for the ebb and flow of land management, because all properties need some form of stewardship, be it posting of signs, cleaning up of debris, or reconciling encroachments. In 2022, this is actually our 14th edition of this plan. We have acquired interests and rights in real property for 480 parcels, with 17 more in contract, representing over 2,300 acres. Now, we accomplish the vast majority of our stewardship work in-house. We create a baseline document, which documents the parcel as it exists at the time of acquisition. We help create management plans for those properties with some proposed human use. And we regularly monitor all CPF properties for encroachments, dumping, or other issues. And beyond in-house management, the proposed plan discusses any known projects along with associated expenses. Significant projects for 2022 may be possible historic restoration at the Brooks Park property on Neck Path, demolition of structures at the Downs property on Fireplace Road, removal of bamboo and restoration at the Maloney property on Fireplace Road, wetland restoration on Ocean Avenue in the Village, possible historic restoration of the farmhouse on the Duck Creek property on Squaw Road, historic restoration on the Carl Fisher House and Annex in Foxborough. Now, I had presented this plan at the February 8th work session, and that version did not represent an additional proposed project recommended by the Springs Park Committee at the Springs Park property. And that project involves the installation and repair of gates for better and safer access to the park at a cost of $6,284. And I was on the line when Kathy mentioned that at her liaison report. So the board won't be surprised that that project was coming. This is the only requested amendment to the plan. Please note, we have not gone out for request for proposal for most of the projects that I just listed, and therefore we do not have an estimate of cost at this time. So while our budget, stewardship budget is 1.5 million or just over, it's a general estimate, and therefore it's subject to change once we review the bids and proposals. So there also may be other projects that we are not aware of. So once adopted, we may need to revisit this plan over the course of the year for modification via public hearing. With regard to this plan, the responsibility of our department was to create a document that will guide us in our efforts towards appropriate management and stewardship goals and objectives, assist in prioritizing projects, and control related expenditures. This lends transparency to the plan, giving the general public the opportunity to participate in the discussion surrounding proposed expenditures. The draft plan can be found on the town's website and in the town clerk's office. And with the board's permission, I will actually update that plan to include the gates at Springs Park and repost that to the web and give it to Carol.
Thank you, Scott. Jason, do we have callers on the line for this public hearing?
We have a variety of callers on the line, and I will work down the list and figure out where they're going to. So let's go and unmute the first one. Okay. All right. Hey, caller ending in 1225. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. You are on the air. And is this what you'd like to talk about?
Well, let me introduce myself, and I will tell you. I'm John Stoner, a longtime 56-year Waynescott summer resident who, as of September 2019, became a full-time Sagaponack resident less than a half-mile away from the Waynescott town line. I'm also a current and founding member of the Waynescott Heritage Product. Here to read a letter from the Waynescott Heritage Product to the East Hampton Town Board regarding the CPF M&S plan. Dear Supervisor Van Scoyac and East Hampton Town Board members, as a newly formed organization founded to preserve the history and cultural character of Waynescott, the Waynescott Heritage Project, WHP, composed of longtime members of our community, wishes to provide input regarding the drafted CPF Management and Stewardship Plan, M&S Plan, for 2022. First, we applaud your efforts to preserve the farmlands, historic buildings, woodlands, wetlands, and view sheds that make the East End so special. The primary purpose of the creation of the Community Preservation Fund, the preservation of community character, aligns closely with WHP's purpose, which is to protect historic structures and significant view sheds, and to foster and maintain an appreciation for Waynescott's traditions and sense of community. We are increasingly alarmed, however, by intensifying overdevelopment with structures that are out of scale and not in keeping with the character of our community. These developments often erase the rural character and history of our area by overwhelming open spaces, obliterating prime agricultural soils, and demolishing historic buildings. They overburden our limited resource such as water and power and are becoming a blight on our environment. This is not a problem specific to Waynescott, as we know. Rather, it is an issue affecting the entire East End. More and more, it's a challenge to maintain the enduring rural and historic character of our town. Our organization was founded in 2021 following a community effort to save a nearly 100-year-old Waynescott structure from demolition. Our group preserved what is known as the Little House, a structure that stood on what was once the Strong Farm on Waynescott Hollow Road and historically was occupied by black farm workers. The new property owner demolished the circa 1938 potato barn and is currently in the process of building a luxury residential compound on this parcel of prime agricultural land. Fortunately, we were able to have the 200-square-foot Little House dismantled, crated, and stored. We take this opportunity to thank Councilwoman Overby for her assistance in helping us achieve this goal. This endeavor, coupled with the threat of overdevelopment, made clear to us the need for greater attention to historic preservation in our hamlet and the town. Were it not for the designation of an agricultural overlay district, which triggers review by the town's Architectural Review Board, we would not have been able to save the Little House. In this process, however, we found that a survey of historical resources in Waynescott has not been updated since 1990. Such surveys provide recommendations and guidelines for preservation, and whether or not a historic district or landmark is designated, significant cultural resources are identified. Given that the CPF plays a significant role in the preservation of historic lands and buildings, we note the absence in the M&S plan of qualified preservation staff. A historic preservation planner would greatly benefit the administration of the M&S plan and also would help to identify and advise on historical cultural resources, providing professional input and guidance for proposed acquisitions. The proposed M&S plan states that most of the expenditures relate to staffing expenses, since up to 10% CPF revenue can be used for M&S purposes, and the proposed budget for 2022 represents only about 3.5%, we would urge the town board to consider including preservation staff as an essential component of the proposed 2022 M&S plan. We are all aware that our natural and cultural resources, which have regional, state, national, and even international significance, are threatened incrementally. The provisions of Peconic Bay Region CPF law and local CPF rules and regulations certainly provide a line of defense, and we congratulate Supervisor Skoyak also for his initiative in establishing a property management committee that works in concert with the Department of Land Acquisition and Management to advise the town board in the management of historic properties. In this endeavor to protect our sense of place, the presence of professional preservation staff will complement and enhance the excellent work already being done and will help plan for long-term stewardship and much-needed historical preservation initiatives that can balance progress with history and quality of life in this piece of paradise that attracts visitors continually and which we all call home. With thanks for your consideration, we remain very sincerely yours, Esperanza Leon, Carolyn Logan Gluck, Susan Macy, Pamela Mahoney, Bruce W. Solomon, and yours truly, John Stono.
Thank you very much for calling, John. We appreciate those comments.
Okay, moving on to next caller. All right.
Again, I'd just like to remind callers to try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. And if you have any device that you're listening to this meeting on in the background, if you please mute that before getting on the call.
Great, and I am unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 1337. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you.
All right,
Hi.
You're on the air. Do you want to talk about this one?
Okay.
Are you here to talk about this public hearing, or which one?
I'd like to talk about the Brooks Park property, please.
Okay, is that this, pardon me, is that this public hearing, Mr. Supervisor, or is that?
So the M&S plan is it's a management and stewardship plan of CPF properties, of which Brooks Park is a CPF property.
Understood.
So.
Thank you. Cool. Caller, you may proceed, and please announce yourself to the board.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name's Urban Levy, and I've lived in Springs since 1989, full-time since 2021. I love East Hampton, and I'm honored to serve on the town's Nature Preserve Committee, as a board member of the East Hampton Trails Preservation Society, and as a volunteer docent at the Longhouse Reserve. I'm grateful for the Community Preservation Fund's mission of open space preservation and the foresight of the town to purchase the Brooks Park property. I'm strongly in support of restoration and not demolition of the Brooks Park house and studios. I was the hike leader Sunday, February 20th for East Hampton Trails, and we did a hike on the trails and the property in collaboration with the Brooks Park Committee's presentation. We had 125 to 150 people on a frigid Sunday morning with wind chills in the single digits and low teens. They were excited to hear the presentation and explore the land. The sense of community everyone felt that day, connecting with the property, the possibilities, and with the to really describe. And I think that's the opportunity that restoring and reimagining the buildings into the Brooks Park Arts and Nature Center gives us. A place for everyone in our diverse community, from kids to seniors, to enjoy, all while honoring Springs' history as the birthplace of an important American art movement. Brooks and Park were part of this movement and a part of the rich history and sense of place of East Hampton, much like the farmers, the fishermen, and the baymen. It's not just buildings you're preserving here. It's our heritage. It's who we are. The big takeaway for me about historic preservation is once it's gone forever. I ask most respectfully, please seize this moment for our community now and for generations to come, and preserve and restore these properties. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Irving.
Okay, and I shall move on to our next caller. And here we go. Hello. All right, hello, caller ending 6163. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi there. I'm waiting for these special permits.
Okay, let me just make sure I mark that down for us. And the special permit, that would be number 3. Okay.
Number 4.
Oh, number 4. I apologize. Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll go on to the next caller. Okay. Okay. Hello, caller ending 7971. You are on the air. Hello.
Oh, this is Jean Frankel from Amagansett.
And are you calling about the Brooks Park, or are you calling about one of the other topics?
I am calling about 2 other topics that I can address together. One is Resolution 2022-150 that would enable the creation of affordable housing in 2 neighboring parcels of land totaling 6.5 acres on Route 114. It would add affordable housing overlays to the zoning of each. The other proposal, Resolution... Pardon?
I'm sorry, Gene, those would be the hearings 2 and 3. So right now we're discussing the CPF management and stewardship. If you'd wish to comment on those later hearings, that will come back to you, if that's okay.
Is that what I should do? Just stay on and wait for you to call those 2?
Yeah.
Yes. Jason, I'll make a note that you want to speak at hearing 2 and 3.
Yep. All right, noted. All right, I'll move on to the next caller, and I'll cycle back to you. Thank you very much. Okay, so our next caller, give me a second, is... Hello, caller, ending 0724. You're on the air. Hello. Are you here to talk about the CPF or any one of the other public hearings?
I'm here to talk about the resolution to amend Chapter 255-5-50, which I think is third.
Third. All right, understood. It's been noted. Thank you very much. I'll go on to the next caller. Hello, caller ending 3700. You are on the air. Are you here to talk about the CPF or one of the other hearings?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Hi. This is Janet Jennings. Hi, everybody. I'm a member of the Brooks Park Arts and Nature Committee, and I'd like to read a statement that I've come up with. I've been working on this project for over a year now with a great group of people. And anyway, Shakespeare said, "The object of art is to give life a shape." And Einstein said, "Look deeper into nature, and then you will understand everything." The mission of the Brooks Park Arts and Nature Center is to create an intersection of art and nature on the bucolic 11-acre property where James Brooks and Charlotte Park, artists at the center of the abstract expressionist movement, lived and worked. We wish to create a center where love of nature and a passion for art can be cultivated for the community as a whole. We are urging the town board to approve the designation of appropriate CPF funds to restore the Brooks Park studios and residents on Neck Path. And in addition, we are asking the town board to approve the management plan submitted by the Brooks Park Arts and Nature Center Committee. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Janet.
Okay, moving on to the next call.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sorry about that, Janet. All right, unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 7179. You're on the air. Do you wish to talk about the CPF or one of the other topics?
Yes, I do.
Oh, perfect.
Yes,
Thank
Brooks
you.
Park. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Jane Martin. I'm an artist residing in Springs for 20 years and former co-chair of the East Hampton Arts Council. Erwin and Janet just made such an eloquent presentation, but I wanted to say I've been involved since 2013, which is almost 10 years, originally with the Brooks Park Heritage Project, and now with the Brooks Park Art and Nature Center to preserve the former home and studios of James Brooks and Charlotte Park on Neck Path. excuse me. Brooks and Park were such an integral part of the abstract expressionist movement, which is really so centered here in Springs, and restoring their home and studio and creating a nature center for the public to enjoy would be just an incredible contribution to the artistic legacy of the East End and to the community you serve. So I would like to ask that you please ask you once again for the town board to approve the designation of CPF funds to restore the studios and residence on Neck Path, and for the town board to approve the management plan we have submitted. And everyone can go to brooksparkarts.org for more information or follow us on Instagram. And thank you so much for your support.
Thanks for calling, Jane. It's good to hear from you.
Hello, caller ending 8872. You are on the air. Do you wish to talk about the Brooks Park CPF or one of the other topics? Hello, caller ending 8872. You're on the air.
Hi. Yes, my name is Marietta Gabris, and I'm a longtime Springs resident, and I'm also on the Brooks Park Art and Nature Center Committee. We request, to keep it short today, that the 2022 CPF Management and Stewardship Plan allocates the funds needed to fully preserve this site, which was designated a local historic landmark in 2014 and is eligible to be on the National Registry of Historic Places. James Brooks and Charlotte Park were part of an art movement that has global recognition. In addition to preserving our rich cultural heritage, this magical 11-acre site abutting major hiking trails will allow us to serve the entire community, whether you are an art lover, hiker, or nature enthusiast. As Erwin had mentioned, on a frigid February morning, over 120 community members turned out to show their support for this very special and unique location. As the most densely populated hamlet, Springs community is in need of open spaces and meeting facilities. The Brooks Park site, purchased with CPF funds nearly 10 years ago, stands ready to meet these community needs. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks for calling, Marietta.
Okay, moving on to next caller. Let me see if I can find them on our list. Second. Okay, gonna go over, just gonna hopscotch it a little bit. Okay, and all right, hello, caller, ending 3299. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, do you wish to talk about the Brooks Park CPF?
I do, yes.
Great.
Hi, this is Ramesh Wardas. I want to speak briefly to the Brooks Park project, which I really want to encourage you to complete and to restore the buildings. The trails are a wonderful part of that preserve, and I often walk on them. And the buildings, as you know, are somewhat dilapidated and need major restoration. And what I think is difficult to realize is probably the deep importance of this abstract expressionist movement, not just in the culture of the town, which it is, but really has this international kind of revolutionary change that it created in the whole perception of art in my lifetime anyway. And it's a great part of our heritage, and it really will bring national and international attention to the town. So I hope that this can be completed, and really encourage you to help it along. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Ramesh.
All right, moving on to the next caller. Hello, caller ending 7877. Do you wish to talk about the Brooks Park CPF or one of the other public hearings?
Hi, yes, it's Cray Van Sickle. How's everybody?
Very well, Cray.
At the CPF. And I also want to say, yes, thank you for all of your great efforts with the existing plans on the management plan, including the Brooks Park potential reserve there, and the bamboo on Accabonac Harbor, which has been something that's been really needing to happen soon, and the rest of the ideas are really marvelous, and it's great to have the opportunity to address you guys on this topic. I wanted to suggest that the CPF management plan create a native plants, pollinator, and carbon sequestration component of the management plan, and that it could be applicable to the, at least to the approximately 500 acres within the CPF land holdings that are under the Parks and Recreation, the farmland, and historic designations. Open space is frequently wooded land, and maybe there's some sequestration management that could be done in those parcels. But certainly those three categories that I mentioned, native species support, native grasses support other native species, such as birds and insects that provide vital life support services like pollination. Native plants also greatly help groundwater recharge and the hydrological cycle in general. And significantly, they also bind carbon at between 1 and 5 tons of carbon per acre, and they build the soil, creating a rich biome of life in the soil, which becomes more nutrient rich and can be prepared for eventual food growing if it's not already designated as food production as farmland, which can support our future possible requirements for self-sufficiency in the local, Peconic and the East Hampton bioregion. So I think that's something that there's a new group called Change East Hampton that's very focused on pollinator species and pollinator gardens rather than lawns. I think that they may be talking more with the town soon. I just wanted to expand the opportunity that the town has and point out that, consistent with our climate emergency plans, carbon sequestration in soils is a really big deal, and there's so many other cascading benefits to recreating regenerative soil health. So thanks very much for taking the time to listen.
Thanks for calling, Craig.
Okay. And before we move on to the next caller, I would just like to say to our previous callers, if you've already talked and you don't want to talk about any of the other public hearings that are coming up, if you would do us the favor of hanging up and watching on YouTube or on our live stream or on our channel, it would really help us out over here, just keeping all the numbers straight and in order so everyone gets the chance to have their voice heard. So I'm going to move on to that next caller. Hello, caller ending 6412. You're on the air. Would you like to talk about the Brooks Park CPF?
No, the special permit law.
Okay, that would be. Let me just go double check that.
Number 4.
Number 4. Thank you. And you're noted. I'll circle right back to you. Thank you very much. Okay, and our next caller. Hello, caller ending 7518. Would you like to talk about the Brooks Park CPF?
Yes, I would.
Great.
Scott Bludorn, and thank you for allowing this conversation to happen, continuing the idea of the preservation of structures at Brooks Park property. I, too, am part of the management group that has been formed and has been putting a really pretty amazing good faith effort into the management of this property for the future. So I am calling on the town board to allocate the CPF funds necessary to shore up these structures in a proper way, and also accept the management plan that we have put forward, in hopes that this center can become a great asset for the arts community and the nature community at large, and foster new relationships between the two of them, which is more important, I think, now than ever, and really catalyzes the reason that artists came to this place. And in cultural heritage, this is a very important aspect of our region. So I would like the town board to really strongly consider what this place means as a unique environment and a unique piece of history. So thank you, and I hope we keep up a good job here. Thanks very much.
Thanks for calling, Scott.
Right.
Good to hear from you.
Okay, moving on to next caller. Hello, caller ending 8256. You're on the air. Would you like to talk about the Brooks Park CPF?
Hello, yes.
Great.
Okay. Good afternoon, Supervisor Van Squack and members of the East Hampton Town Board. My name is Sarah Couts, and I am the Preservation Director at Preservation Long Island. We are a not-for-profit organization that has advocated for historic preservation throughout our region since 1948. Preservation Long Island wishes to offer the following recommendations to enhance the 2022 CPF Management and Stewardship Plan for Brooks Park Home and Studios, which is one of our endangered historic places. And also, we hope these comments will help improve the management and stewardship of other historically sensitive town-owned CPF properties. We thank you for reconsidering demolition and relocation of structures at the Brooks Park site, as these actions would have resulted in irreversible adverse impacts to town-owned historic resources. Such an outcome would be inconsistent with the provisions of the Peconic Bay Regional CPF law, local CPF laws and guidelines, and the Secretary of the Interior standards and guidelines for the treatment of historic properties. Preservation Long Island applauds the goals and objectives for CPF historic lands and buildings, which is found on page 10 of the proposed plan. And I just want to quote from that. For fee acquisitions, we intend to restore the structures as per federal restoration guidelines, and assumably that means the Secretary of the Interior standards, as necessary in conjunction with an historic consultant. We will work with our local historical society and other organizations to learn the property's histories and former uses in an effort to support appropriate or future use. We will seek grants and other private funding to accomplish restoration work, end quote. To help advance these goals, we suggest the 2022 plan identifies specific actions and/or initiatives for the coming year, such as hiring professional consultants or organizing planning charrettes with residents, stakeholders, and/or local citizens advisory committee. We congratulate the town for working with a not-for-profit group interested in the Brooks Park site, as public-private partnerships are an excellent way to enhance long-term stewardship. To better coordinate partnerships, we recommend allocating CPF tax revenue to hire at least one full-time preservation planner as part of the professional staff for the town's CPF program. And we have enclosed the Secretary of the Interior standards, professional qualification standards for historic preservation. Such a professional staffer would help the town to more effectively administer the plan for all CPF historic sites. And this person could also help document, evaluate, and advise on historic resources and proposed acquisitions. There appears to be ample funding available for management and stewardship. In fact, Brooks Park Home and Studios was acquired for both open space and historic preservation, and both uses are entirely compatible with comprehensive planning. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks for calling, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah, just 1 second. I just want to let you know there was a momentary internet freeze over here on our end for broadcast purposes. We did have a small interruption just for about 20 seconds of your talk just now.
Okay, I sent a letter of comment as well, so
cool.
We did receive your letter, and I read it earlier today, and it's part of the record. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, and of course, we're always available to help in any way we can. And thanks so much for listening and taking our comments into account.
All right.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, so moving on to next caller. Hello, caller ending 7487. You're on the air. Would you like to talk about the Brooks Park CPF?
CPF, please.
Great.
Yeah, this is Pamela
Pamela Mahoney, good afternoon. I'm on to read into the record an email from Holly Thomas Whitmore. And she writes, good morning. I am writing to express my frustration that it has taken the WCAC so long to address the ravaging Wainscott farmland. A list of Wainscott farmland. The Strong Family Farm on Town Line Road, long gone. The Hand Family Farm, gone. The Pankowski Farm on Wainscott Hollow Road, gone. Where were you all when a number of Wainscott residents were fighting the sale and the development of this land? A historic cow barn, gone. I sent a letter to Sylvia Overby, chairperson of the Planning Board of East Hampton, dated June 2nd, 2008, along with emails to the Planning Board. The Osborne Farm on Main Street, gone. How could Mr. Lauder outbid all of the preservation funds, conservancy agencies, East Hampton Town, etc.? You didn't try hard enough to save the most important acreage in Wainscott. Remaining operating farms, Dankowski and Babinski. Also, on numerous occasions, I have brought up at WCAC meetings the installation of a historical district in Wainscott before more land and homes are altered beyond repair. It was always dismissed in turn, and the merit of looking into this was never even voted upon. You have my permission to read this email at today's East Hampton Town Board session, as I cannot call in. Sincerely, Holly Thomas Whitmore.
Thanks for calling, Pamela. I will say, the town board stands ready to pursue a historic district in Wainscott if the Wainscott citizens would support it, but to date, we haven't received any support.
Yes, in fact, we had,
thank you.
Bob Hefner did make a presentation, not while I was liaison, but he did make a presentation to the Wainscott CAC and was, they were not interested in pursuing a historic district at that time. So if it's changed, yeah. Well, if it's changed, let me know. I've certainly brought it up several times now since I've been liaison. And I would like to pursue it if we can pursue it, but I still haven't gotten an enthusiastic response.
Okay.
Thank you for calling, Pamela.
Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate you coming.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm just going to double check over my notes, but I believe that all of the other callers are for other topics or have previously talked. Again, if you've already talked and you don't want to talk about anything else, please feel free to hang up and go along with your great day. So with that said,
motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Carol, if you'd read the next hearing notice, please.
Take note that the public hearing is hereby scheduled to be held on the proposed local law amending Chapter 255 of the East Hampton Town Code at Article 12 thereof, use district zoning map, in order to change the use district zoning classification of certain lands located on Route 114, Wainscott, Town of East Hampton, New York, from A2 residence to A2 residence with affordable housing overlay district as more fully set forth in the text of the local law and on the accompanying map. Said hearing to be held on March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard. An abstract of the proposed local laws as follows. The local laws to amend the use district zoning map to provide for a change in the use district classification of certain lands as shown in the accompanying map and is more fully described below. Suffolk County Tax Map 300, 133, 110, and 300, 133, 111.001. The location is 776 and 780 Route 114 in Wainscott. Current owner is the Town of East Hampton, 65 plus acres. From A2 residence to A2 residence with affordable housing overlay. Suffolk County Tax Map 300, 133, 19, 782 Route 114 in Wainscott. Current owner, the Sag Harbor Community Housing Trust Incorporated. It's 2 plus acres of A2 residence to the new classification of A2 residence with affordable housing overlay district. Any person wishing to comment on this matter may do so in person or by agent or by writing received prior to the date of the time of the hearing.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, if we could go to the callers and see if anyone is called. I believe we have at least one caller for this hearing.
Absolutely, yes. Hello, caller ending 7971. You're on the air.
Thank you. I'm Jean Frankel from Amagansett, and I was actually combining my presentation.
Do you want me to cycle back to you after number 3?
Well, I think we'd have to take comments for each individually, Jean.
Okay. Well, let me comment on Resolution 2022-150. I'm really pleased that we are placing affordable housing overlays on the 2 properties in Wainscott that are involved here. One of them is a property acquired by the town board specifically for affordable housing, and the other one is a property that a nonprofit agency in Sag Harbor has already dedicated to affordable housing. They're both in locations near to the amenities that residents need and near to transportation, and more affordable housing in just such areas is exactly what we need to increase, to rebuild our local workforce and enable participation of the many good people in our community who contribute in other ways, such as by volunteering and being first responders and teaching our kids. And I'm very pleased that the board is interested in this initiative.
Thank you for calling, Jean. We appreciate
thank you.
those comments. And if you care to stay on the line, we can come back to you for further comments on the other topic.
Good.
Okay, absolutely. I'll absolutely cycle back to you. We also have a variety of new callers that just hopped on the line, so I'm just going to try my best to work on down. All right. Hello, caller ending 7263. You're on the air. Would you like to speak on this topic? I mean, sorry, 5263.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
I thought so because I heard it say I was unmuted. My name is Susan Kane. I am a resident of East Hampton, and I'm calling to voice my support for the affordable housing overlay that we're talking about on 114. The reason I support this project is because I am actually 13th generation of my family in East Hampton, and we've moved 5 times in the last 2 years, and we're about to move again, just because we cannot afford to own a home, and our rentals, we have to juggle back and forth between winter and summer. My kids are in the East Hampton School District and doing very well, and I want to keep them there.
We appreciate you calling in, Susan, and your comments are important.
And you can leave me on too for the next part if you like.
Okay, sure.
Okay, very good.
All right, I'll put you on for 3 as well. Thank you very much. I'll cycle back. Okay, and working on down the line. Hello, caller ending 1094. You're on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon.
There you are. You're on the air. Hello, caller 1094. I just heard you 2 seconds ago. You're still on the air. Okay, I'm just going to maybe cycle back to them later on.
Hello.
Can you
hear me?
Yes, I can, yes.
Good afternoon, members of the town board. My name is Don Lenzer. I've been a full-time resident of Amagansett for 35 years, and I'm extremely pleased that the East Hampton Town Board is prioritizing and committed to the expansion of community housing. I'm calling today in particular in support of the board's plan to add affordable housing overlay to 776, 780, and 782 Route 114. Those of us who are privileged enough to live in this community so frequently have to choose between what is good and ethical on the one hand, and what is in our own personal interest on the other. In terms of this issue, however, I really believe we're in a win-win situation. Building more affordable housing is essential to preserve the kind of community that makes it such a wonderful place to live in. We all know that it's increasingly difficult for people in the service trades whose support is so vital to our well-being to live here. We see this every morning from the incoming traffic that's often at a near standstill. The same is true of our EMT and healthcare workers, for the teachers who serve our children or our neighbors' children. It's true, for that matter, for our own children who often can't afford to live here when they grow up. To help establish a more inclusive community is not just the right thing to do, I really believe it's the necessary thing to do. And it's in our own interest if we want to maintain the health of the community. Thanks very much for all your efforts to make this a reality. It's reassuring to know that our elected officials truly do represent the community at large. Thanks very much.
Thank you for calling, Don. We appreciate your comments.
All right, moving on to next caller. We've got, 3523. You're on the air. Would you like to talk on this topic?
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Nilay Oza. I am a resident of Sag Harbor. I'm also, I have a practice. I'm an architect. My practice is in Bridgehampton. And I think this particular overlay is vital for how we can come closer to solving our housing crisis. I tend to employ fairly young people, and to a person, it is unaffordable to them, for any of them to live east of the canal. Secondarily, this location on 114 lies nominally between the village of Sag Harbor and the town of East Hampton. And that speaks to its suitable, this suitable location speaks to the fact that it can actually serve two communities rather than, being resident in one of them. And that's why I think 776, 780, and 782 on Route 114 are particularly ideal for what we're talking about today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Nilay.
Okay, moving on to next caller. Hello, caller ending 6000. You're on the air. Hello, caller ending 6000. You're on the air. All right, I'm going to go cycle back to that number. And let's see if I can find the other number. Oh, and by the way, again, everybody who's already talked, if you don't want to talk anymore, if you could just hang up, because I have a ton of numbers over here, and I'm trying to piece everything together as best as I can. Hello, caller ending 2341. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi, everyone. This is Bryony Frage. I am an East Hampton town resident, a mother of 3 young children at Sag Harbor Elementary, a member of East NDMB, and a social worker and psychotherapist seeing a lot of children in East Hampton. At East NDMB, we are, well, first of all, I just want to thank the board. I am such a proud East Hampton town resident when we're having a public hearing like this one, and for the board to have started, the year off with all hands on housing. You are, you have a huge group of support in East NDMB, and I'm calling in support of the 114 affordable housing overlay. At East NDMB, we're advocating for high quality, affordable places to live for all local community members. And we feel strongly that every township, village, and hamlet should provide affordable community housing for local residents. Wayne-Scott, where this site is located, is the only school district with no affordable housing on it. We really feel like we're advocating for affordable housing in all of the East End. And the location this site is uniquely well-suited piece of property for the purpose of affordable housing. It's located on a major road, Route 114. There's the bus, which, you know, is such a rarity that we can actually have housing by public transportation. And, you know, and it's close to Sag Harbor Village, and we all know, you know, I don't need to talk to any of you guys about what a dire situation we are in for housing for our essential workers and community members and family members. So thank you. I am 100% behind this. I live less than a mile away, so it's particularly exciting to get to support a development that really is right in my backyard. So thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Bryony.
Okay, let's see if I'm going to find the next caller. Okay, let's see. Hello, caller ending 1158. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Favre. I'm calling today in support of the affordable housing overlay on 114. I've been living and working as a physician in East Hampton since 2018. I currently live with my husband and my 2-year-old son in Springs, and I work as the Vice Chair of Pediatrics for Stony Brook Southampton Hospital, and I'm a pediatrician at East End Pediatrics in East Hampton. Due to the lack of affordable housing on the East End, it's become increasingly difficult to staff our office. The commute to East Hampton's become unmanageable most of the year for our staff members to commute from Up Island, and the staffing shortages that we've suffered from over the last 2 to 5 years has really made it very difficult to serve the ever-increasing population of children that are in need of our care. The shortage of healthcare providers that affects the hospital as well as the office leads to staffing shortages and has made it so that we're frequently without necessary healthcare personnel at times of emergencies. The cost of living in this community makes it difficult to obtain affordable housing and almost impossible for locals to live here and work here in this community where they were raised and where their families reside for many years. The majority of our current staff are young people, and most are commuting into the neighborhood, sitting in traffic for up to 2 hours every day, or living with family because it's unaffordable for them to live locally. Many of our patients also suffer from lack of affordable housing, and they've been affected by housing instability, moving frequently, changing schools, or experiencing the stress of not knowing where they're going to be able to live. And the mental and physical effects of housing instability are well-documented social determinants of health. As a young physician, I'm lucky to have bought my home in Springs 1 month before the pandemic started. Otherwise, I'm quite sure that I would not be able to live locally and keep these jobs that I have here. My husband's a stay-at-home father and cares for my son full-time, and I work 2 full-time physician jobs in order to afford to live in my home and raise my family here. With the immense student debt that I have, it's almost impossible to predict whether I'm going to be able to live long-term in this community and serve the patients that I currently serve. Affordable housing is an important and necessary improvement for our town, and I hope that the East Hampton Board takes the necessary steps to bring this affordable housing to the East End for the benefit of this community. This property is ideally suited for affordable housing. It has access through Route 114, public transportation, and it's close to the village. And we really appreciate your time and consideration on this matter.
Thanks so much for calling, Dr. Favre.
All right. Unmuting next. Hello, caller ending 2247. You're on the air. Hello. Hello, caller ending 22. Hey, there you are. You're on the air if you want to state your name.
This is Dr. Gail Schoenfeld.
Hello, Dr. Gail.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Would you like to talk on this?
Sure, be happy to. So I am calling in support of the change in zoning for the property on 114. I am not only a resident of East Hampton, I'm a parent, I'm a business owner, I'm a homeowner, and I've been here for the better part of 40 years and seen what has transpired with housing in the area. I've seen how it's affected my patients. I've seen children who have been forced to leave the area, families that have been displaced, grown-up children who can't stay in the area where they grew up because they can't afford their own homes. I've seen the effect of unstable housing on the mental health of children, changing in school, changing their friends every time they have to move because they can't find a stable place to live. My own children have had a hard time staying in the area. I'm having a hard time running my business because I can't afford staffing. It's getting more and more difficult to find people to work in the office, and now I'm trying to recruit another pediatrician, and it's a huge obstacle because it's not affordable to live in this area. And I worry about what's going to happen in the near and distant future in terms of providing essential services in this community unless we improve the housing situation.
Thank you for
That was all I
calling.
had to say.
We appreciate your comments, Gail, and while I have you on the phone, I want to thank you again for all your amazing efforts in helping us put together and run that vaccination center throughout COVID. You really are a remarkable person, and we're lucky to have you in this community. And we need to make sure we have ways of keeping you and others like you in the community.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it's very hard to run a business here, and when you have to pay so much more for staffing, basically you earn a lot less. I would never leave this town. This is my home, but it's going to be hard to convince somebody else to do this. And, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this forever, and I need to find a replacement. I need to recruit somebody and train them and bring them in. And more when I talk to people and they find out about the cost of housing and that it's, you know, hard to make a decent living out here because of it, they're not interested in coming. So it's going to be hard for this community if we can't keep these services locally. It's very hard to travel out of the area for something that you need, you know, so desperately and so frequently. So, yes, we need affordable housing. Period.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right.
And unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 4522. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, my name is Melanie Hayward. My family and I are residents of Wainscott, actually on 114, just down the road from this proposed community housing overlay. And I'm here to just share my enthusiastic support of this project and all that it'll bring to my neighborhood and our community by offering a point of access to young people and families, professionals, bringing much needed talent to our workforce, and all others who have been priced out of this region of Long Island. Not only is the proposed location ideal for community housing for all of the reasons that have been named, this stretch of 114 has a really long and rich history as a gateway for access to our beautiful region as the home of the Sands communities. Unfortunately, the heart and face of this community are changing. There's a property right behind mine on Six Pole Highway that has been uninhabited for 4 years, sitting listed at $4.5 million. And it's very clear that the community housing would bring much more vital neighbors to Wainscott than projects like that do. Also, and lastly, I understand there has been some concern raised by the Wainscott School District in the past. I'm the parent of 2 children zoned for that school, and I'm disheartened by that resistance. There are a lot of potential solutions to accommodate any additional students that might reside in this project, this community housing project, and happen to be within the K to 3 grade range of Wainscott School. And the school's budget actually, based on student enrollment currently, represents $132,000 per student, which is well above the national average of $12,600 per student and the state average of $25,100 per student. We've seen the schools in this region offer flexibility when enrollment increases based on folks moving into their vacation homes for COVID-19 reasons, and I'd love to see us embrace neighbors in search of reasonably priced housing to the same extent that we do for those vacationing here or seeking luxury refuge. So I thank you all for hearing my comment and very enthusiastically support this overlay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to call in today, Melanie.
All right, unmuting next caller. I'm gonna try to cycle back to you. Hey, caller ending 6000. Are you there now?
I am.
All right.
Thank you.
You're on the air.
Got caught in the delay last time.
It's all good. You're on the air now, though.
Good afternoon, Michael Daly from Sag Harbor here. I'm calling in support of the Affordable Housing Overlay District zoning change. You know, I am an advocate with East End YIMBY, but my day job and what led to that advocacy was I'm in my 23rd year in the real estate industry now. And about 10 years ago, I started seeing how so many local people were being priced out of this market, and how renters in particular were having real challenges finding places, being ping-ponged in and out of seasonal rentals, there being a shortage of year-round rentals. And so about 5 years ago, we began East End YIMBY to try to be the voice to educate local people on the challenges around affordable community housing and bring solutions to towns and villages. And it's an honor to be here with so many other of our community members who are here in support of this. I just want to share with you quickly a story, and I've got about 25 people on my list right now who are looking for year-round rentals under $3,000, and they include nurses, they include businesses who are looking for their employees, they include doctors' offices, and people, government employees. But here in 2019, I received a text, "Hi, Michael, I'm in a real bind and need help. I have to find cheaper rental as soon as possible. Anything under $3,000. Anything you can find would be grateful. Thank you." Well, since that time in 2019, this client of mine has moved 3 times, and a month ago sent me a message. So I received unexpected news. My landlord, and now they live in Greenport and take 4 ferries a day to get to work. My landlord sent me a notice that they're selling the house and I need to vacate in 2 months at the end of March. What is life without a challenge, right? The hunt is on. So if something crosses your radar, I'll hop on it. I don't care, anywhere from Montauk to East Moriches, any place that'll have me. And then just the other day, I received the message, "Hi, Mike. As you know better than I, this rental market is still quiet. So I remain steadfast about living on the South Fork. I'm actively looking, nonetheless, at alternative plans, including leaving Long Island out of necessity. In fact, I've spoken to my family in Europe and may end up going there for a while because they allow up to 3 months without a visa. Not wanting to wait until the last minute, it's becoming a game of chicken for me, and I prefer not to leave, but I got to roll with the punches until I see my opening. If anything pops up, let me know, and I'll hop on a plane and be home. Please keep your eyes peeled for me. I appreciate everything you do." I've just got to tell you, this is a gut-wrenching part of my day-to-day business. You know, a lot of people see real estate agents as, you know, living the high life and driving around and selling all these luxury homes. And we are fortunate to have a good business and to have these homes to sell. But this is the part of my business that keeps me up at night. And I'm so grateful for all of the effort that the East Hampton Town Board is putting into growing affordable community housing. And please keep it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you calling.
Okay, unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 8354. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello, my name is Patty Brickley. I am a social worker, and I was fortunate enough to have been able to purchase my home 30 years ago. I certainly wouldn't be able to do that now. What is very striking to me is how we are losing so many young people, valuable people who are workers, first responders, and perhaps people who grew up in this area and they simply can't afford to stay. They're our greatest resources, and we're losing them. and we have other workers who come in here to provide the services that we need, and they're spending 2 to 3 hours or more in traffic. So it's very clear we need more affordable housing in the area. I am in support of this affordable housing overlay, and I think it's a perfect location for it, being on 114 on a bus route and in between East Hampton and Sag Harbor, and I certainly hope that this proposal is passed. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to call us, Patty. We appreciate your comments.
Okay, unmuting next caller. 1 second. Sorry about that. All right, hello, caller ending 4664. You're on the air. Let me see if this is one that works. Hello, caller ending 4664.
Hello.
You're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Hi, this is Sarah Couch from Preservation Long Island again. I just want to comment on the proposed affordable housing overlay and really stress the need to update the historic surveys, the historic resources surveys for that 114 corridor. As some folks from Wainscott noted, a lot of the surveys that the town did to understand its historic resources were done 30 or 40 years ago. So those are really in dire urgent need of updating. And those play an essential, crucial part of making decisions like the zoning changes. And I know that historic preservation isn't always perceived as part of affordable housing, but it really is. And I want to say there are a lot of small little bungalows, little cottages up and down 114, and it would be a real loss if we lost those buildings to demolition and redevelopment. And those surveys are really key for making sure we go through the process to identify the historic and archaeological resources that are in these areas. So, of course, affordable housing is an important and tremendous thing to do, but we can't do it without assessing impacts to historic, archaeological, cultural resources. Because once they're gone forever. We can't get them back. And I know there's a lot of interest in mixed use. I can't stress enough, mixed size is so important. Mixed size in a historic district is what makes historic districts so successful. We have big buildings, we have little buildings. We need smaller buildings. Older and smaller buildings can be affordable in ways that newer, larger buildings can't because of all the costs incurred in doing a demolition and a redevelopment. So it can actually be beneficial to the local economy and the environment and our sense of place to retain whatever we can while we do new construction. But it's so important. And also, if we do have historic resources, we can activate things like the tax credits for big projects like this. 20% of projects can be available for historic tax credits through the federal historic preservation program. So that's great. And also, I have to say, review of historic resources is part of the town code, but also the State Environmental Quality Review Act. A lot of folks don't realize historic resources and cultural resources, architectural resources, those are considered part of the environment. All of our environmental laws define that in the same way. It's not just natural resources, it's historic, architect, all that stuff is part of the built environment, is part of environmental review. So if we don't do that work, we're gonna lose opportunities for really amazing projects that would be unique to this area. We don't have to pick one or the other. Historic preservation and affordability can work together in really great ways. And the National Trust for Historic Preservation has done some really amazing studies on this mixed size, mixed use approach to retaining historic structures with new construction. So I really urge everyone to think about that. And just really quickly, I want to explain, because it was mentioned with the Wainscott Historic District, My reading of the East Hampton Town Code for local landmarking and local historic districts, there is a public hearing process for owners and other stakeholders of properties to come forward and speak in favor or opposition of a proposed landmark. But the town has the power to designate historic properties without homeowner approval, just like New York City can, and many other places. And that's because we have this really great part of the code that the people of East Hampton decided to give the town the power to do this because it's the way we protect historic resources. It's like a wetland. I also wanted to say that the process is a little bit different for a national historic district. It's a majority of property owners opting out. So there's very different ways to get designated, and they have very little to do with support from property owners. So we'd be happy to help navigate that and educate community members and everyone else. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling, Sarah. There are no historic resources on this property within the overlay or nearby that have been identified under secret.
Well, they haven't been surveyed. There's never been a survey.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we don't
Thank you,
know.
Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate your comments.
Okay. And moving on to next caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Can you mute your TV in the background? It's 3029. Can you mute your TV?
They haven't been surveyed.
Hello. All right. Caller ending 3029. Can you mute your TV in the background?
We appreciate your comments.
And moving on to the next caller.
All right. I'm going to just go back to that later. And so...
Once again, if we could just reiterate that please keep your comments directed towards this particular public hearing and mute your devices when you come on the line. Thank you.
Okay, and with that said, I'm unmuting caller. Hello, caller 4221. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Town Board. It's Jane Meering in Amagansett. Today, I wanted to speak in support of both of today's affordable housing-related resolutions. I mistakenly had sort of intertwined my comments. So just for the record, for this resolution and public hearing, I'd like to state that I am enthusiastic in support of applying the affordable housing overlay to these properties on 114. If Supervisor will indulge me, I'd like to take my remaining minutes from this, put it on a gift certificate, and combine it in the next hearing. So if you'll pop me into that queue, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Jane, there are no rollover minutes, but we'll still take your 3 minutes at the next public hearing. Thanks.
I might go over. It's the most important topic I can think of speaking on, and I was trying to combine both in one. So we'll see how it goes. Okay.
Understand. We appreciate that. We'll come back to you shortly.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to her on the next topic then. And let's go to hello, caller ending 3160. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Chris Hayward. I am the father of two. I live in Wainscott on 114. Just a few houses down from the new proposed affordable housing project. I am fully supportive of it. I grew up in Southampton, been here all my life. Most of my friends struggle to find housing out here, affordable or otherwise, just there's no housing options. And it's really devastating to see all my friends move out of the neighborhood and not having anyone to hang out with. I think this is a great fit for the location. I've been driving by these properties for the last 10 years. I unofficially call it the cottage district because along with the cottages, there's a hotel that's turned into workforce housing, and there's several other cottages in the area. I can attest that it's walkable to Sag Harbor Village, and you have the public transportation running right down 114. Public water is not too far away. I'm actually surprised that there is no public water running down 114 right now. It seems like it should have been done a while ago, so that would be helpful to get that chugging along. And regarding the environmental issue with electric systems, I think we've come a long way with the new AI systems that we're putting in throughout the East End, along with a central sewage system should alleviate any of the concerns, environmental concerns. So I'm into this. I hope it happens. And thank you for taking the time to listen to me.
Thanks for taking the time to call us, Chris.
And let's see. Let's make sure I got the... All right. Hello, caller ending 2695. You are on the air. And can you mute your TV in the background, caller number 2695?
All right. Hello, caller ending 2695. You are on the air.
Hello. All right.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Did you mute your TV in the background?
Yes, I did. I have nothing on.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And you are on the air.
Hi, guys. This is Maria from Shelter Island. I am calling because I go back and forth between Shelter Island and East Hampton often, and Sag Harbor, and we are struggling here, of course, with the same issues that you guys are struggling with. I'm very supportive of the affordable housing overlay, partly because the more you guys do, the easier it'll be for us to get our stuff done. I do believe that all of us are connected, South Fork, North Fork, and Shelter Island, and therefore we really need to be working in tandem to make sure that all of our communities have affordable housing. So I'm just calling as a resident of our area to say that I'm very supportive of this and also know the area quite well. And I think there could be small affordable cottages so we don't have to sacrifice anything in terms of architectural integrity to make a place for everyone to live safely and well. So that's my comment.
Thanks, Maria. Could you just give us your last name for the record, please?
Sure. Yes, it's Maggenti, Maggenti.
Thanks so much, Maria. Appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Right. Bye.
Be well.
And unmuting next caller. Hello, caller ending 0747. You are on the air. Hello.
Hello, everybody. My name is Petya Dimitrova. I moved out here from Bulgaria about 13 years ago. I've been trying to stay out east for the last 5. My boyfriend and I, he's from Sag Harbor. He really would like to stay close to his family, but it was impossible for both of us. I work in real estate. It's a little painful sometimes to see how things are going because, as Michael mentioned, it's all great for everybody that they're able to buy and sell those $1 million houses, but for us it's not. My boyfriend works at our full-time. I work as an admin full-time, and it's impossible for us. It's not a unique story. So many of our friends were pretty much forced to run away from here, move out of state, away from their families. We see restaurants are struggling with staffing. Everybody is struggling with staffing. The root of all that is housing. Thank you for everybody who called and voiced their support. Really appreciate that. The affordable housing projects in East Hampton are amazing, but the last time we tried to apply, the wait was between 6 and 8 years. So we were forced to move to Manorville. Now we are part of the train parade every morning. Obviously, I am voicing my support. 114, great location. It will be so much easier for everybody. It will contribute to the community. It will be great, and it's greatly, greatly needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Becky.
Okay. And unmuting next caller. Let's make sure that I got everything in order here. Pardon me, everybody. I'm just trying to find. We had one caller calling in, and they just dropped on me. Caller ending 8764. All right. just making sure that you're not there anymore. Give me one moment, just look over my notes to make sure that everyone that did talk on this did talk, and that everyone who did talk already, who doesn't want to talk about anything else, if you could please hang up from the phone lines. I'm actually going to cycle back to one person who had their phone, their TV on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, caller ending 3029. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Hello, good morning or afternoon. My name is Ella Engel Snow. I'm a resident of Sagaponack and an East Hampton High School graduate. I am grateful to the towns that there has been more movement and conversation and attention towards building new community housing. I am here at this meeting today to strongly voice my support for the affordable housing overlay on the properties at 776, 780, and 782 Route 114. I support the rezoning of this site because it is uniquely well suited for the purposes of affordable housing and can accommodate on-site wastewater treatment as well as public water. I'm fortunate to be able to continue living here for now on a family member's property. I work on a farm, and if it wasn't for my family, I would not be able to stay here on my current income. From 2015 to 2019, I worked as a tenant specialist at Whalebone Village Apartments, and at that time, we estimated our waiting list to be approximately a 15-year wait. Conversely, over the past year and a half, I have witnessed at least 4 houses within a 1-mile radius from me get torn down only for a monster house to be rebuilt where it was. Most likely a house that would be occupied less than a quarter of the year or could possibly remain empty and on the market. It's inexcusable that this continues to take place while community housing is so difficult to pass. It is our obligation to adjust the zoning laws, and we can. We know that it's unjust and inequitable for so many people to be forced to live in underhoused conditions or to leave. And we know how deeply problematic it is for our community to go on this way. As others have mentioned, we are losing the people who hold our community together. And if we continue on this path, what will we be left with? Thank you.
Ella, we appreciate your comments. Thanks so much for calling in today.
Okay, moving on to the next caller. Hello, caller ending 1680. You're on the air. Hello, caller ending 1608. You're on the air. All right, I'm not hearing anything from them. With that said, there's a bunch of callers who are calling in for multiple things at the same time. Some people are still on the line, but other than that, I don't see any new callers who haven't spoken.
Motion to close.
Have a second?
Second.
Sylvia seconding.
Oh, she's muted.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the third hearing notice of the day.
Notice is hereby given the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter. This may be heard on a. Wait a minute, I think on 2 minutes. Sorry. Notice is hereby given the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter. This matter may be heard to consider comments of all persons regarding an amendment to Chapter 255 zoning, Article 5, special permit uses, Section 255-550, specific standards and safeguards, affordable housing development, an abstract of which reads as follows. A local law amending Chapter 255, Article 5, Section 255-550, affordable housing development to amend paragraph E to change the number of permitted single-family residents from 1 residence per 20,000 square foot to 4 single-family residents per acre.
Okay. Do we
All right,
go
and
back to the callers?
absolutely. And I'm muting first caller. Hello, caller ending 7971. You're on the air again.
Oh, thank you very much. Jean Frankel again in Amagansett. This is another excellent addition, modification to current rules governing affordable housing construction. And one thing I might mention is that the fact that it was there before and that it's being amended is symptomatic both of the careful attention that our town of East Hampton has been paying to the issue of affordable housing in advance of the other 5 towns, and its willingness to look again and again to see what we can do to expand the supply. And I really want to compliment the board on that and all the people who helped them with it. By increasing moderately the numbers of units, both rental and for single families, that can be placed on an affordable housing property, the board is addressing a really crucial issue we have, which is that land is extraordinarily expensive in our town. I needn't tell anybody that. And if we don't do something to increase the number of properties, affordable properties on a lot, we are limiting the potential for growing the affordable housing supply too strictly. So we will, and in this case, the background to this indicates that we do continue to consider the aesthetic and the environmental and the economic implications of all our work in developing affordable housing options, and this is one such, and in my opinion, very well crafted and definitely to be supported. Thank you very much for your hard work on it, everybody, and your support.
Thanks for calling, Jean. Appreciate your comments today.
Okay, and unmuting next caller. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Hello, caller ending 5263. You are on the air.
Hi, it's Susan Kane again. And for the spelling of that, it's Kane, in case you needed that. I am going to make this very brief. I totally support changing the density from 2 to 4 houses per acre. You know, it's been mentioned numerous times about the number of people on the wait list, and I think it would just make a lot of sense to serve more people and address the affordable housing crisis twice as much. So, yes, to that. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Susan.
Okay, and hello, caller ending 4221. You are back on the air.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Town Board. It is Jane Mearing in Amagansett. Today I'd like to speak in support of this affordable housing-related code amendment. To begin my comments, I would indeed like to thank the board and all members of the other boards, departments, and committees who have been working to deliver affordable housing solutions in our town. And also, Town Board, I want to recognize your 2022 All Hands on Housing initiative, making this work top priority for all council people. So in my comments today, I address not only board members, but I also want to speak out to my fellow East Hampton citizens who might still be out there in opposition to or have concerns about what these changes might mean for density or scale of development or impact on neighborhood character. As such, I'd like to put these proposed zoning changes in the perspective of what is already permitted by our town zoning code regarding single-family residential development. This proposed change to 255,550 will allow for affordable single-family residence per acre versus the current limit of 1 per 20,000 square feet, so that's basically a doubling. Affordable housing units tend to range between 1 and 3 bedrooms and 700 to 1,100 square feet. I'd estimate an affordable standalone single-family residence might be 2 or 3 bedrooms and perhaps 1,200 to 1,500 square feet. So 4 units together might add up to 6,000 square feet of living space, maybe 10 to 12 bedrooms on an acre. It's important to note that our affordable housing developments are highly reviewed and structured. Affordable housing development is generally green. It minimizes the amount of impervious surfaces. It limits accessory structures. It focuses on native revegetation and rain gardens that can curtail use of chemicals and irrigation. So now let's compare all that to what current zoning allows for regular single-family residential development. Under 255 today, 1 acre without encumbrances will permit above-ground gross floor area for just one house of just shy of 6,000 square feet. In addition, we often have 2,000 or more square feet of usable living space below grade. So that gets you these days to a house of 8,000 plus square feet, which tends to translate into 7 to 9 bedrooms and 9 to 12 bathrooms. But the intensity and scale of scope in today's development doesn't end there. Our existing code allows lot coverage percentages, which allow another 10 or 15,000 square feet upon which to construct a lot more stuff, like pool houses, pools, multi-car garages, parking areas, sheds, patios, decks, blah, blah, blah. And many of these 1 acre developments have meaningful swaths of water and chemical guzzling ornamentals. These numbers I'm referencing here are not just pie in the sky hypotheticals. They reflect what's really been going on over the last 3 to 5 years. These luxury builds are happening all the time, all around us in every hamlet in most of our neighborhoods. All of that space, mass, and scale, all of those materials and energy and water consumed for one house, for just one family, in most cases, a second and third home that might only be used 4 months or 40 days a year. And these developments, which max out properties, are pretty crushing to our rural neighborhood character, view sheds, and quality of life. So I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have land use that is productive. I'd much rather protect housing that remains within reach of our full-time residents, our teachers, entrepreneurs, town employees, first responders, workers, artists, young people, etc., rather than having another couple luxury compounds. We can have all our development, on one hand, we could continue to have all our development going towards intermittent and non-productive use to satisfy the wants and whims of a few, or we can carve out at least a moderate proportion of our land to be used in a highly productive way for needs and benefits of many. But this is not about my preference. To wrap up, what's on the table today with this, and actually the prior resolution, is not a matter of preference. It is a most critical imperative. Spec developers are gorging on what's left of our undeveloped land. Every week, existing modest-sized homes that might otherwise remain in our housing stock and represent potential for reasonably priced community housing, our starter homes for our full-time local residents, meet up with the wrecking ball. If you check the real estate listings today, as I did again this morning, you will see that out of 268 homes for sale across East Hampton, there are only 8 houses for sale priced below $1 million, and a majority of those exceed $900,000. In closing, it is estimated that in the short term, we have an urgent need for at least another 300 units of affordable housing of one form or another. I think back in, like 1985, on the last comprehensive plan, it was estimated we needed 2,000 affordable housing units over time to meet our needs. I can only imagine now, 3.5 decades later, with what the real needs gap is today, given the changes in our housing stock and the growth of our population and economy. So let's go. Thank you for putting this on the table. And also, I want to speak on the special permits hearing. So if you'll pop me back in the queue.
All right, absolutely. I'll put you on for also number 4 as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jane. Appreciate your comments.
All right, and with that said, I don't see any other callers for these hearings. There's still some people on the line from the past calls, but no one new. And then we still have some people on hold for the next ones for number 4.
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the next hearing notice for special event permits.
Notice is hereby given the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on March 3rd or soon thereafter. This matter may be heard on a proposed local law amending Chapter 151, special event permits of the East Hampton Town Code of said local law to read as follows. Chapter 151, special event permits, including, among other updates, the codification of the Special Events Committee, set new application submission requirements and deadlines, increase amount of required liability insurance, and require applicants to carry in and carry out litter. Full text of the amendments are available on the East Hampton website.
And I'll unmute the first caller.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay. Hello, caller ending 6163. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Town Board. This is Jim McMillan from Amagansett, 40-year resident, about 30 full-time. And I'm calling in reference to the special permit. I just glanced through it quickly, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about I didn't notice a noise component in there. And the reason I'm concerned about it is last summer, for instance, I work hard all day, and I come home, and I wanted to sit out in my backyard with family or friends for a barbecue. And it seemed like every other Saturday, I wasn't home every Saturday, so I'm not exactly sure about that, how many, but it seemed like every other Saturday at least, music was blasting from Main Street. And a neighbor had called, and I had called. Code enforcement was closed. It was about 7 o'clock. And they kind of just, well, they must have a special permit, so we don't know what they have or what they don't. All we know is we can't sit outside in our yard. So I was wondering if it's possible maybe to relook at this and figure out what kind of noise limitations we can put on all these permits, because last summer it really ruined it for me. I couldn't even sit out in my yard, really, after working all day. So I was wondering if we could maybe do something about that. And the other thing I just wanted to say is thank you very much for arranging that booster shot program there on Pandigo Road. What a lifesaver that was. That was fantastic, because it was impossible to get help through any other government resources except here in East Hampton. So that was great. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the 114 affordable housing. I think that was a great purchase, perfect location. I'm usually against density, but Jane just made a wonderful point about what a density of a wealthy landowner would do to 1 acre as compared to those affordable housings. And that's a very, very good point, and she just changed my mind with that. So it sounds like an overall good plan. So if you can maybe just look at some sort of noise component to that special permit process, I would really, really appreciate that, and I'm sure my neighbors would too, because I'm over a mile away from Main Street, and it happens so many times. It just ruined a weekend get-together with family and friends many times. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your comments, Jimmy.
All right, moving on to the next caller. Hello, caller ending 6412. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Town Board. It's Rona Klopman in Amagansett, and I just have a few comments, so please bear with me. I know it's a long meeting. On the special permits law, the special, one of the first things I'd like to say is the definition of commercial premises, just including non-conforming. I'm not sure that it shouldn't be all encompassing for conforming and non-conforming use. Why wouldn't you add that to the definition, since it should relate to all businesses? The second thing I'd like to say is that I was a member of the Recycling and Litter Committee for many, many years before it was disbanded. And we discussed carry in and carry out, every year. It came up, and Sylvia, who was liaison, was kind of hesitant to even put it into practice. It's such a difficult thing. So now the only thing you have in this law is the carry in and carry out for events. There are people who will not cooperate, and the town should have protection for any event. So I think it should include a fee just to cover the town. As far as music on the beach, since Amagansett contains all the beaches, with new devices coming out every day, the Bluetooth devices with really loud speakers, maybe this should be addressed in the law as well. Because, you could sit on the beach and want peace and quiet and have all of these loudspeakers around you. Also, I'm concerned about people who use the beaches as promotion for their products, such as American Express have used events specifically for promotion of their products. And beach events should be limited with advance notice only, and decommercializing our beaches should be our prime concern. I don't see any reason why people can't have families and dogs and whatever they want on the beach during the day, but white cloth dinner parties are using our beaches. If you want to have a catered clam bake, I'm all for that. Do it at your house, not on the beach. Last summer, there were very creative companies that had businesses where food, chairs, umbrellas were placed on the beaches for sale, $500 plus, whatever you wanted to have. That should be regulated. Creativity are going to bring other businesses to get money, and it should be addressed in the law. I think surfing and paddleboard businesses depend on our waters. They should be allowed, but somehow controlled with some sort of structure in the law. But they certainly should be allowed on the beaches. They're part of our beaches. We also have places in Amagansett, such as the Amagansett Farmers Market, that use the property as commercial moneymakers. Events should not be allowed to commercialize farming. Weddings were being held there for over 100 people this summer. They advertised farm to table as commercializing this property, which the town bought the development rights for. So I'm not even sure why that's even allowable. And part of what Jim was talking about as far as the noise comes from the Amagansett Farmers Market. So I have no problem with commercial properties using charity events if 75% of the proceeds go directly to the charity. A lot of these events are being held, and they just say it's for a charity, but there's no direct knowledge of whether all that money is going to the charity. So I think that should be part of the law. I think there should be a size limit on events held in parties in houses. They shouldn't be any more than 100 people in a house, because you're going to have houses next door that will be bothered by that. And a larger party, if they want to have it, should have a discussion with the committee. So, and as far as the noise issues that Jim brought up, I agree. There's nothing in the law that limits the noise. If a party is over 150 people, the town should have an acoustics expert. And I've heard Bonnie Schneider talk to the town board, and for many years I've heard her get up to evaluate the event. Even if it's on 10 acres, 150 people can be disruptive to the community. I remember the Novogratz party last summer where they had a marching band and a rock star performing, and noise could be heard on Marine Boulevard from that party. So the question is, what kind of town do we want to be? And you have an opportunity here in attempting this law, but I think you need to accomplish more in writing it down. And in addition to the carry and carry out, I think there should be a fee. And I thank you very much for the time. It's been a long meeting, so I thank you for letting me make the comment.
Okay. Thanks for calling, Rona.
Okay, and caller ending 4221, you are back on the air for the fourth hearing.
Thank you. It's Jane Meering again. I'm sorry to subject you all to my ongoing vocal stylings. Good afternoon, Town Board. Last year, I think it was on October 5th, I came before you to speak about the issue of special events permits, as well as the specific problem of beach concierge services that were taking hold in some of our hamlets. I also submitted a detailed letter to the record related to those comments at that time. Some of you might recall this as my infamous, I can hear Novogratz from my window comment. I'd like to affirm again, for those who are skeptical, that was indeed true. So at this time, I asked the board if So at that time, last year in August, I asked the board if after the season wrapped, it would look with fresh eyes at the special event permitting process and code overall and deliberate on some of the hard questions. And so today I am deeply appreciative of the detailed work that's been done here, of the in-depth work sessions you had about this a while back and the leadership of Councilman Bert Gonzalez around this complex topic. And I am happy to see and support this resolution to amend Chapter 151 today. I understand that over the last 3 months, the goal has been focused on getting these basic fundamental changes into the end zone, that is drafting and implementing in sufficient time before the start of the season. But in addition to your accomplishments on the table today, I'd like to urge you all to go further and tackle 3 specific issues related to special event permitting sooner rather than later. The first issue I'd mention is about noise mitigation, and in particular around amplified music. I hope the town could consider how to limit and restrict the intensity and duration of noise and sound to fewer hours and control it preemptively. So many people are rendered unable to enjoy their own properties in peace or have sleep disturbed when they are subjected to incessant pounding of music and being forced to listen to loud voices and shouting for hours upon hours. So I ask the town to seriously rethink the current standard also of standard of enforcement that focuses only on-site, in-the-moment decibel meter reading. The second issue I'd like to ask you to tackle sooner rather than later relates to the concierge beach services. I went into great detail last summer about the abuses we saw last year from the likes of Hampton Beach Services. I asked that the town propose, draft, and pass amended code in whatever format is best in advance of Memorial Day to prohibit such and similar operations in any way and any time on our beaches. And finally, my third ask is for true rethinking and limitation of special events permitting on our beaches. I think small family and friends clam bakes and wedding vows and beaches are lovely, but we've been seeing a proliferation of like ultra exclusive, lavish, rather large beach functions and parties, and they often interfere with the public's full access and also its right to passive and peaceful enjoyment of beaches. Supervisor and board members, you are correctly concerned ongoing about and committed to protecting beach access. But, you know, the issue of beach access is more than just Truck Beach. Protecting beach access involves promulgating the right mindset. When we see the co-opting, commercializing, branding, and plying of business activities for restricted and private use on our beaches, that engenders and perpetuates a caste mindset that is totally contrary to the principle of equitable access for all. Stratified tiers of exclusive usage based on money and means has no place on our beaches. A resident should be able to enjoy a small beach fire or simply sit and gaze at the stars and the moonlight on the ocean in a natural and quiet surrounding without having to deal with multiple organized group events and partying around them. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Thanks again for calling, Jane.
Oh, sorry about that, Jane. Mr. Supervisor, with that said, we don't have any other new callers on this line, but we still have a few people that were hanging out from the last hearing or so. I just want to double check and make sure that they don't want to speak on this, with your permission.
Yes, please. Yeah, please
Okay.
go back to on the line. See if they want to speak about this or the future.
All right, hello, caller ending 1608. Do you want to speak on the special permits?
No, actually, I've been trying to get in. I'm not sure how this works because I'm on a phone, but I just have to go back to the affordable housing. I didn't get a chance to speak before, but my name is Lisa Tullio. Hello.
Can I just ask that you hold those comments to the public session? And so we can go ahead and close it. It'll be immediately after the other public hearings.
And we have 2 more.
Okay, so I'm going to go cycle back. I'm going to go unmute this. Hello, caller ending 3. Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I got skipped. I called in for public portion hearing number 3, and I was skipped over. Can I comment on that now?
Oh, I apologize. We can
come back to you. We'll come back to you shortly in the public session. Just stay on the line.
Thank you. And hello, caller ending 2341. Do you want to speak on the special permits, or do you want to speak on the public hearing?
I also got skipped over for the last thing, so I'll wait until the public hearing, or the public portion.
Understood. I apologize about any of that. We had a bunch of callers calling in for multiple things, and so I was cycling back through my notes. I thought I got to you, and again, my apologies. But thank you very much for staying on the line. With that said, I don't see any other new callers.
I'll entertain a motion to
Motion to
close.
close.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the next hearing notice for vehicles and traffic law.
Please take notice of the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter. This matter may be heard on all comments in relationship to a proposed amendment to Chapter 240 Vehicles and Traffic, Section 24068, Schedule 18, time limit parking of the East Hampton Town Code and aspects which follows. A local law to provide 2-hour parking limit on the west side of North Main Street from the southwest corner of Indian Hill Road to the northwest corner of Miller Terrace between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The full text of the proposed local law is available in the office of the town clerk and is available online at the town's website.
Thank you, Carol. Jason, if we could go to the phone lines, if there's anybody new on the line.
There's nobody new on the line. I do have David McMaster in the waiting room if you wish me to have him come in.
Okay, without anybody willing to comment on this, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. Carol, if you read the last hearing notice of the day, please.
Notice is hereby given the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing on March 3rd at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter. This matter may be heard to consider comments of all persons regarding amendment to this chapter to read as follows. It's Town Code Amended Chapter 37, Department Head Bonus Compensation Plan, Section 37-2, Eligible and Ineligible Department Heads, Paragraph A is hereby amended to add the following: principal accountant.
Thank you, Carol. Any other new callers on the line?
No new callers.
I'll entertain
Motion to close.
We have
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. We'll go now to the public portion. Again, folks can call in and speak about any topic they wish. We again ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less and that you mute any device you may be listening to the meeting on so that we don't get feedback.
Here, can I announce at this point that at 5 o'clock there's going to be a gathering at the windmill for support for Ukraine, and we're at 4:08, and I just want to make sure people are aware, maybe help keep their conversation a little bit shorter so that people can join in that support for the Ukraine.
Thank you for that, Sylvia.
Cool. With that said, I will unmute the first caller that was waiting. Hello, caller ending 2341. You were on the air, and I also want to ask: did you speak on the second public hearing?
Yes, it's Brian Ephraige. We spoke, and I believe a few people. All that happened was we were able to speak in the second, and we were holding for the third.
I didn't know that you were on for the third.
Yeah.
Understood. So there's a lot of public hearings, so that's where the confusion came in.
Totally understand. Not a problem. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
It's Brian Ephraige, East Hampton Town. I'm just calling. I'll be very brief to express my total support for changing the density from 2 to 4 houses per acre to allow for smaller homes to be built. I wish we could put some laws on the books to address the reverse of tiny homes being knocked down and massive ones being built. But this is a great effort. And also, as part of public portion, I just wanted to ask if now that things are opening up, my kids, are no longer required to wear masks at school, has the board considered how you plan to address these sorts of meetings, board meetings going forward? I know as a working mother, this is the best way for me to really stay involved, and I really want to continue to be involved at this level, but it will be
completely impossible for me to do so in person. Is there a hybrid option being considered for going forward even after the public health emergency has sort of ended?
Yeah, so Bryony, the governor's suspension of the open meetings law continues through March 15th. I don't know if it will be extended at that time. That would allow us to have a hybrid meeting. If that doesn't take place, then it would take a change in the statute. And I believe there is one sponsored but not yet approved that would allow for hybrid meetings going forward. We have noticed that this format actually has increased public engagement. Having the Zoom remote public meetings allows people as yourself to call in during work hours or at home while preparing dinner or whatever it might be. And we'd like to be able to continue with that, and we will to the extent the law will provide. So we don't know yet. If we go back into public session and the governor's suspension of open meetings law continues, then we will be able to continue in a hybrid format. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for state legislation.
Okay, and just to clarify, oh, sorry. Oh, no, you're not talking. You're delayed on my screen. Is there an avenue that we as citizens and residents can pursue to try to make this, like, how could we go about making sure that East Hampton Town is able to continue hybrid access? Is there sort of a specific point person, or I don't know, do you have any suggestions on how we can help advocate this?
Sure, I would suggest that you contact our state assemblyman, Fred Thiel, and Senator Colombo. Either or both of those elected officials represent us in the state legislature, and it would take state legislation to allow us to do that. So that's right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bryony.
All right, and moving on to next caller. Hello, caller ending 3029. You are back on the air. Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for bringing me back. Again, this is Ella Ingle Snow. And I just, for all of the reasons that I mentioned in the last public hearing, well, actually, it was public hearing number 2, I strongly support the proposal to change the density from 2 to 4 houses per acre for single-family houses and affordable housing overlay districts in the town of East Hampton. And I just want to emphasize that I think as much more of this type of thing that we can do as possible, as several other people have mentioned, there are many very large houses that go up that don't really actually house anyone, that are very unsustainable for both our community and our natural environment. And there are many ways to increase density in a sustainable way that we know will be sustainable for our community, and also ways to do it in a sustainable way for our environment. So I encourage this and I support it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Ella.
And next caller. Hello, caller ending 1608. You are back on the air. Hello. Hello, caller ending 1608. You are back on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're back on the air.
Lisa.
Yes.
Hi. Truly, Ellen, I'm calling from Mattatuck. I support this greatly. I think one thing that we have to talk about, too, is the density, which is wonderful. What are we offering these people that are moving in? Well, we're offering something to the town. I'm a registered nurse. I work in an ICU. I have an essential function.
if we have such a massive shortage right now, it's a crisis that's being downplayed. But even out here at PBMC, at our little hospital, it's very scary because there's no place for people to live. And I don't know if you've ever had a loved one in an intensive care unit and there was maybe one nurse that called in sick, or it is a matter of life and death. So I want people to, I hear a lot about parties and, whatever. Just think about the younger people that are graduating from school to be nurses, teachers, policemen. Where are they going to live? How are they going to work out here and staff your hospitals and take care of your families? We need to have this affordable housing up. I don't know why it's so difficult to get this passed, but I really thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. Could you just restate your name for the record? I have a little trouble hearing it.
My name is Lisa Trulio.
Okay. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. And hello, caller ending 8764. You are on the air.
Good afternoon. It's Dave Buddha. I look forward to the day when we will resume more or less normal meeting practice at the town hall. I'm calling now during public comment to make some observations about something that you did last month. You retained the law firm of Kahn & Kahn to commence a quiet title or declaratory judgment action to confirm the town's ownership of the 3 reserve areas in the Beach Plum Park subdivision in Napeague. There's an article in today's East Hampton press that publicizes that, and I very much look forward to it because it's very important for the people of the town who want more and more beach access, and there's less and less of it all the time. What people might not understand by reading the article is that the town actually did receive, process, accept a deed to those reserve areas, and that was done in a formal manner, and there's no clear explanation as to who dropped the ball. Someone did, probably the attorney for the developer, but the deed was in fact recorded, but it was recorded a year too late, which causes complications. And now it's up to the attorneys to resolve that. I do think that it's a situation that clearly calls for the application of one of the maxims of equity that we learned back in law school, that equity regards as done what ought to be done. The town required that the reserve areas be deeded to the town. It was done, and then somebody dropped the ball and delayed, and hopefully now you will be able to unscramble the egg, because that's what should have been done. But that brings up another topic in my mind. I'd like to make a suggestion here on the record that the town give consideration to honoring the memory of Louis Zachary Cohn by considering the renaming of the South Flora Nature Preserve. That is probably the largest and most important nature preserve the town owns on the waterfront, 40 acres. Zach was instrumental in everything having to do with public access to the beaches, and to consider the management plan for that South Flora Nature Preserve. And it would be ironic for that nature preserve to be left in the name of the development company, the South Flora Land Development Company, whose idea for that land was the polar opposite of what we have today, thanks to the effort of all the people in the town who worked so hard on preserving it, and the people at the Nature Preserve Committee, and Zach was the longtime chairman of that committee. I think that it's a fitting and appropriate memorial to all the work that he did for the town, especially when it came to trying to maintain and preserve and expand public access to the beaches. It was Zach and Rick Whalen and David Lease and myself back in 2011 that picked up on an obscure notice that the town was going to remove 3 properties from the nature preserve list, and we all jumped on that together, throwing our 2 cents in together, and as a result, we were able to stop and reverse a moving speeding train that the town board was trying to engineer at that time. So I think that the 2 things are related. The Beach Plum Park Nature Preserve areas that need to be clarified in terms of the town's ownership because of its beach access route, its historic beach access route, and also South Flora. I think this is an appropriate time to now consider giving Zach his due and respect for what he did for this town and removing the name South Flora, a development company, from that nature preserve and replacing it with we could just call it the Zach Preserve. Okay, that's my thoughts for today. Thank you.
Thanks for calling, David. Appreciate your comments.
And with that said, Mr. Supervisor and Town Board, we have no other callers on the line.
Okay. The show's not over till Mr. Buddha sings. At this point, then, we can go to resolutions. I believe, Kathy, you have resolutions to offer?
I do. Resolution 2022-313 is approval of the warrant. The claims total $9,324,568.72, and the utility warrant totals $81,487.49.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, pass and carry.
Resolution 2022-314 is a notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 167, littering and dump control. The public hearing is scheduled for Thursday, April 7th at 2 p.m. And if you bear with me, because I don't have this printed out, just wanted to get to, and the purpose of the proposed changes are to expand the definition of litter to include gravel, loam, dirt, and other debris, and 2, to prohibit drag out on public roadways.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, pass and carry.
2022-315 is a notice to bidders, EH22-011, Springs Library Accessibility Improvements. The bid is available March 3rd, and it's due back on March 24th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-316 is a resolution to amend. This is scheduling a public hearing to amend the Chapter 199 of the Town Code for the rental registry law, as we discussed. This public hearing will be held on Thursday, March 17th, 2022 at 11 a.m. or soon thereafter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Sorry, let me just...
Page 19.
That's a long one. Okay, 2022-317 is the point seasonal snow removal driver in the Highway Department, Alan Burke, an hourly rate of $30 per hour for the season for 2022, retroactive to February 22nd, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
318 is an approval for summer youth program with the counties of memorandum of understanding between the town and Suffolk County for the Department of Labor for the Work Experience Program for the youth program that's funded by the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
319 is amended resolution 2022-28 in which Matthew Zukowski was appointed to part-time position of harbor master effective January 1st, 2022. And hereby now he's appointed to the position of harbor master at an hourly rate of $30 per hour with no change in schedule or budget account, effective retroactive to January 1st, 2022.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
320 is the sub-bid EH22006. This is for the Atlantic Avenue concession contract for Hampton Soft Ice Cream Corporation for the total for 3 years for $186,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Aye.
321 is extend the contract EH21008. This is an annual traffic signal repair and maintenance contract to Hink Electric Corporation contractor, and this is for a period of 1 year from April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
322 is the accept bid for EH22005. This is for the Maloney property bamboo removal to Jackson Dodds and Company, and the septic total cost for this project is $13,730.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
323 is the accepted donation of a memorial bench, a gift from Charles and Sylvie Weilman. They would like to donate a memorial bench as a gift to the town of East Hampton in memory of Monique and Charles Dave Goudis. Pardon me. This will be to be placed at the bulkhead of the north side of the parking lot at Fresh Pond Beach.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-324 is to accept bid EH22-007 disposal site for ground leaves with Calverton Materials. The bid of Calverton Materials was the lowest qualified bid received and is hereby accepted in the amount of $20 per cubic yard. And that's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-325 is notice to bidders, home renovation of 54 Tub Oarsman. The bid number is EH22-012, bid available March 3rd, 2022, and bid due is April 7th, 2022. Specifications are available from the purchasing department office by emailing jcarosa@ehamptony.gov or calling 631-324-4183. Beginning on Thursday, March 3rd, that's today. All bidders are strongly urged to attend a pre-meeting for this bid on Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022 at 11 a.m. at the location, which is 54 Tub Oarsman Road. And resolve that the purchasing agent they need to be received by 3 p.m. on the date below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 2022-326 is to approve landscape revegetation plan for Georgica Estates. Georgica Estates reserved area is adjacent to the MTA and the Long Island Railroad. It has suffered significant loss of vegetation as a result of the pine beetle infestation, and approximately 300 trees have been lost as a result. Georgica Estates, working with South Fork Wind, who will be installing the wind power cable to the Cove Hollow substation via the MTA LIRR line, has developed a landscape revegetation plan, which will revegetate the area along the MTA LIRR right-of-way with 8 to 10 foot trees, eastern white pines, as well as inkberry, northern inkberry, and black huckleberry, as shown on the landscape plan. And this was all done through reviewed by the Natural Resources Department, and resolved that any substitutions of the plants, because for alternate equivalents, will also be permitted upon Natural Resources Department review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
And I have 2022-327. This is for downtown Montauk Beach survey for 2022. And this has to do with the need of a survey for the Army Corps of Engineers downtown Montauk Beach replenishment project site to determine the quantity of sand required for compliance with the operation maintenance agreement, and resolve that the firm of Robert H. Fox, DBA Sea Level Mapping, is retained to perform the required survey as referenced above for a cost not to exceed $6,000 as per proposal dated 2/15/22, and that will be taken from budget account A, and resolve that Robert Fox, DBA Sea Level Mapping, is retained to perform the required survey.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
2022-328 is to authorize the extension of a contract for Precisely Map Info professional software. And the town has an ongoing maintenance contract with Precisely, formerly known as Pitney Bowes, for Map Info professional maintenance and support, and a renewal is required for the period beginning May 31st, 2022 and ending May 30th, 2023, whereas Precisely has proposed a renewal agreement dated 2/23/22 at a cost of $1,090, and whereas the town desires to renew the agreement for the 2022-2023 term, and so it is resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute the agreement with Precisely for software licensing, support, and maintenance of the town's GIS Map Info legacy software for the period of May 31st, 2022 through May 30, 2023, as set forth in their proposal, and resolved that Precisely shall be paid an amount not to exceed $1,090 for such services, to be split between budget accounts A with $872 and B with $218.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, passed and carried.
And finally, I have 2022-329 to approve an agreement with CIA Technology for GIS professional services upgrades of software. The town has retained Cartographic Associates, Inc., CAI, to provide specialized professional services related to the town's GIS system. And whereas the town wishes to retain CAI to implement the upgrade of the existing enterprise GIS system to a more current version, and whereas CAI has submitted a project proposal to provide the upgraded services required at a cost to the town of $15,000 dated December 8, 2021, and therefore be it resolved that the town hereby retains CAI Technologies to provide GIS upgrade services as set forth in their proposal at a cost not to exceed $15,000, and be it resolved that CAI shall be paid in accordance with their proposal dated 8/2021 from budget account A and budget account B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 2022-330 is to appoint the Agricultural Advisory Committee for the calendar years of 2022 and 2023. That's an amendment. I think it originally said just 2022. This is a 2-year appointment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 331 is to appoint the 2022 Police Reform and Reinvention Community Review Board. Those members are Michael Butler, Loretta Davis, Fred Doss, Faith Evans, Jack Perna, and Lawrence Smith, with the ex officios being the Chief of Police, Mike Sarlo, Councilwoman Sylvia Overby, and myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passed and carried. 332 is a list appointment to Public Safety Dispatcher 1, Kaylin Davis. That's an annual salary of $54,642.51. And that's effective March 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 333 is a list appointment, Public Safety Dispatcher 1, Gregory Lagaren. And that is an annual salary of $54,642.51. Again, effective March 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passed and carried. 334 is a list appointment to Police Lieutenant Daniel Toya. That will be at an annual salary of $166,884.24. And that's effective March 13th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Congratulations, Lieutenant Daniel Toya. 335 is a list appointment, Police Lieutenant Chelsea Tierney, and she is at an annual rate of $166,884.24. Also effective March 13th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Passed and carried. Congratulations, Lieutenant Chelsea Tierney. 336 is list appointment, Detective Sergeant Ryan Hogan. This is at an annual salary of $159,148.56, effective March 13th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Congratulations, Detective Ryan Hogan. Resolution 337, list appointment to Sergeant Ryan Fink. This is at an annual salary of $144,245.34, effective March 13th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass and carried. Congratulations, Sergeant Ryan Fink. Resolution 338 is Employee Deferred Compensation Plan. Resolved that Town Board wishes to offer participation in the plan to part-time, non-essential employees at no cost to the town, effective immediately.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Resolution 339 is to adopt the 2022 capital plan, and that is for a total of $15,027,455.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Thank you, Becky Hansen, for your help on that. We have additional resolutions. David, I think you have one.
Yes, I have two. I have Resolution 2022-340. This is authorized payment for 2021 invoices for buildings and grounds, which were dated from 12/24/2021, in the amount of $978.31 to Marshall and Sons Fuel.
Second. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also have 341. This is amend Resolution 2022-307, which authorized the payment of a 2021 invoice for the Highway Department to Malpeace for the amount of $275 for invoice number 52014. The correct budget account code was used, and the appropriate budget code now should be the one mentioned at DB5130.54560.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution ID 27438 is a.
It actually, Dave, Peter, it got a number. It's 2022-342. Is that the secret?
Yes, I stand corrected. Did not get that updated version. I guess I have the updated version, but not with the ID number. So that's a resolution amending secret negative declaration to deactivate the East Hampton Airport and open a new private use airport. And again, there's a change in time from the closure will now occur on 11:59 p.m. of May 17th, with the reopening on May 19th at 9 a.m. And therefore be it resolved, the town board, after careful review and consideration, hereby adopts the attached amended secret negative declaration, Appendix A, in relation to the following FAA procedures for pursuing option 2 set forth in the FAA's November 20th letter, 2020 letter. Further resolved that town will continue to work in conjunction with the FAA to complete the deactivation of the airport and activation of the private new airport. And be it further resolved that Resolution 2022-190, entitled Secret Negative Declaration to Deactivate East Hampton Airport and Open a New Private Use Airport, and related FAA required action, dated January 20th, 2022, except as hereby amended, is in all other respects reaffirmed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Are there any other resolutions or matters before the board at this time? I'll entertain.
Are we going into exec session?
Yes, we do need to go into exec right away.
So I make a motion to go into exec session for advice of counsel and for a license agreement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed, carried. Thanks very much, everyone. Stay safe, be well.